Yeah, I saw that with the Life is Strange discounts for the Steam sale, because it's like this franchise is 0% off because I own everything on Steam for the whole franchise.
Hell yeah!
It's like, damn, that's a steal. 0% off. Everybody, thank you for joining us here on episode 58 of Cup of Joe's. I'm your host, Joe Brown, joined by my best friend, Joe Perrion. And Joe, we are back. We have made a commitment, and so far it's worked out 2 weeks in a row, which is, I think, is commendable in our position. We got a podcast up 2 weeks in a row.
We did. Or we will, because we're speaking to you from the past.
Right, unless my internet goes out forever, fingers crossed. And then I gotta I have to drive my computer down to North Carolina to just give it to you to upload it. Or
take my computer.
What'd you call it? North Crackalaki or something?
North Crackalaki, baby.
Right, I gotta drive all the way down, give you my computer, and then you upload, and then I come back. But
Joe Brown, you could get a job down here, and then we could record in person. You know what I'm saying?
So is this how our conversations go? We're just changing Houston to North Carolina?
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
It's better than the Houston idea, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I mean, we'll think about it. Maybe you just hire me to be your friend.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to hire you to be my friend. I just want you to be my friend.
Well, I need an income down in North Carolina. What am I going to do there?
I don't know, get a job.
Too much work.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's get started here, Joe. So on this week's episode of Cup of Joe's, we're gonna be a little quicker than the last one because there was a lot to recap in E3. So this one will be a lighter episode. To have some light topics like Borderlands. We're gonna have info on that. Joe's gonna talk about the movie specifically. And actually going to get my reaction to something live. And we're going to talk about Cyberpunk coming back to the PlayStation Store. I'm going to review Final Fantasy VII's latest DLC that came out, I think it's last week at this point. I don't know if it's been 2 weeks, whatever. But I played that through, and I'm a big fan. So I'm going to talk about that. And then quickly we'll talk about Steam sale, things that we're eyeing out. But we got to start here, Joe, with the most important bit of news, dare I say, history that happened this week on Wednesday, Joe, okay? I want you to come in this conversation with me. I want you to follow me, set me free, trust me, and we will escape from the city. Because we're talking about the Sonic, there's so many words, Joe. The Sonic 30th Anniversary Symphony Concert. It's a lot of words to remember.
There we are. It's all right there.
On Wednesday, and I know, I would say I'm a Sonic fan. I'm not some hardcore Sonic fan. I'm not out there, rocking big red cartoon shoes or anything like that. But I like Sonic. I enjoy him. I've always liked his character design and his games and the characters in that world. So I'm a big fan. So I sat down yesterday afternoon to listen to some classic Sonic the Hedgehog music, which has a great soundtrack throughout its 30-year history, right? The Symphony Orchestra, I don't know if it was the same symphony that did the Pokemon Orchestra or if they were connected or not, because I saw that live in concert too, and that was really cool. But I'll quickly recap it here for you, Joe, and then hopefully you can go back and watch it later. It was basically segmented into two different parts. That was a first half, an intermission, and then a second half. And their first half was all orchestral music orchestral versions, I should say, of classic Sonic songs. So you got your Green Hill Zones and the likes of that, I thought what was awesome was they played, just out of nowhere, they played Can You Feel the Sunshine from Sonic R. You know that song?
Don't know that song.
Oh, okay, I gotta show you, because Sonic R is notoriously known as an awful game where it's quote unquote racing game, but it's just the Sonic characters running fast.
Oh, really?
And so the song is like, "Can you feel the sunshine?" And it's it's made so many memes over the years. It's awful, but the song is a bop. It's a certified banger. So they played that randomly, and it was just the orchestral, with whatever, the violins singing instead. And so I'm getting hype. Like they had a Sonic Mania block, and then they had like Sonic 3 and Knuckles and different. I'm all right, I'm feeling this. But when they played Sonic R, like that's my jam right there. And then I was devastated because they get to Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 3, everything was chronological, and then they don't play City Escape, which is like the most iconic, Sonic Adventure song you could think of, it's just like what you think of with Sonic. It's like hand in hand. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they skipped City Escape. This is such a disgrace. So I'm fuming. I'm getting ready to go on a twit longer thread about how bad it is. And then the first half takes an intermission. I also want to point out the actual highlight of the first half of the concert for me was, I don't know if you ever played any of the classic 2D Sonic games, Joe?
Yeah.
Chemical
Sega Genesis and stuff.
The Chemical Plant Zone, the second zone after Green Hill Zone?
Yeah.
So what they played that one, and I'm just like heated. I'm just watching at home heated, thinking about memories of Chemical Plant. But the song is a really good song. And then in the video, because they have video of each level playing as they're doing the music, they actually have like a close call where you almost drown or you almost get flattened by those squares that are moving. God. And like the countdown, like 5, 4, 3, and the music like change, and like it's like Sonic just barely gets out before he would drown. So like that was definitely the highlight of the first half of the symphony for me. And then there was a 10-minute intermission, and then the second half was like obviously not live because it was recorded, but like kind of like in a studio live performances from the original creator of the first 2 soundtracks band in Japan. So it was him and his band did some Sonic music, and then Crush 40, which is a notorious Sonic, I don't know if they only make Sonic songs or they're a band that all their songs get put into Sonic games, but they literally make, like, ever since Sonic Adventure and like the Dreamcast days, like Crush 40, like they made Sonic Heroes, like, Sonic Heroes, like they make a lot of Sonic songs. So they had their own like segment. It was like a mini concert in whatever room that they were in, and the lead singer was like talking to the camera. He's like, "All right, I want to hear you. This is one of my favorite songs." And he's like he's looking into my soul, Joe. Like I'm there, and I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's so serious right now. Like he does his pre-recorded, right? But he's getting so emotionally attached to these Sonic songs here. And
oh my god,
like the guitarist had like a Sonic guitar on it too. Like it was cool. And then it gets to, I think, so it started at 3:00 for me EST, and it gets to like 4:55 p.m. something like that. And I'm like, damn, these Sega really did me dirty. They really didn't play City Escape. Like I was actually depressed because I was like, there's only 5 minutes left in here. I imagine it's gonna end at 5:00. And you know what Crush 40 lead singer man does, Joe?
What does he do? Tell me.
He comes out here and says, "We're gonna play one of everyone's favorites," or I don't remember what he actually said, but something along those lines. And then the video starts playing, and it's Sonic with the sled, whatever sled skateboard hybrid thing from that first level of Sonic Adventure 2. Is it a snowboard? I guess so.
It doesn't have. Well, it's a part of a helicopter. Right. That he rips off of like a wing of the helicopter, but it's supposed to be like a snowboard going down.
Right, going down the streets of San Francisco. So it starts playing that video like boom, 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 and I'm like, no way. It was like a huge Game of Thrones level twist that the whole time I thought they weren't going to play City Escape. And then they jam it out right at the end, and I'm literally like screaming at home, singing along, because that's how hyped I got at the end that they actually played it. And then you thought they were done, Joe? Did you think they were done? Did you think after Cityscape? Wrong. Then they played Live and Learn, which is Shadow's theme. You know, that was like Live and Learn. I'm headbanging by myself in my living room in my house, just jamming out to Live and Learn. So, like, overall, I think it was a great experience. Twitch was actually garbage. The feed on Twitch, it just like shut down like 4 minutes in. It just turned off, and it was laggy before then. The music was playing normally, but the actual video was super laggy. So I switched over to YouTube, and there was like over 50,000 people watching it on YouTube Live, which I thought was pretty cool, you know?
That is pretty cool. Dang.
Yeah. So overall, it was a fun experience, and then I say this to remind Joe and our listeners that Sonic Mania is currently free on the Epic Game Store starting as of Thursday. So I went down and earlier today I went in and downloaded it to make sure I didn't miss that one, because you get mad at me when I don't buy the free games.
But you don't buy them; you just get them.
Will you buy them for free $99? How about that?
Yeah, and then you just have a collection of other games that you can play if you ever want to. Like, it's free.
Okay, so
they're for free, Joe.
So
for free.
And it was cool. Like I listen to the Sonic Mania soundtrack a lot. It's just like when I'm gaming or something, because it's like 2.5 hours long and all the different stages and stuff. So it was cool that they gave Sonic Mania some nice shine, since that's a recent game. They had like a whole segment for, what's the new one? Sonic Colors, that they're making the remaster of, or the 8, whatever they're doing. Remember they announced that a couple weeks ago, that they're remaking or remastering Sonic Colors. So they had like a whole segment on that too. It was a fun time all around, Joe.
Sounds like it was. I was unsure what you were talking about when you texted me when I was driving home. But I quickly realized what you were talking about.
Did I like all caps text you the City Escape lyrics?
Where is my phone? Hold on.
I texted you something. I can't remember what it was. I was just in such a daze at that point that I don't remember now.
So you first texted me. We were discussing what we were going to talk about today, and then we ended it, and I said I'll take a look at something, and then 2 hours after that, you texted me saying Sonic Symphony is starting, and I was like, oh, cool, and you're like Sonic 3 Knuckles melody, and then you said something else that I'm not going to say right. And then you said Sonic R, no effing way. Oh my God.
I did say that. That's what I was talking about. Can you feel the sunshine?
Yeah. And then you said BRB, gonna go learn violin, enjoy the Sonic Symphony Orchestra. And then about an hour after you sent that, in all caps, you said, they ended with City Escape. Let's effing go! So Joe, you could be firsthand experience that I am not lying in my excitement that I had yesterday. I have the receipts of what he did, and they're there.
It was so good. All right, what's our next topic here on Cup of Joe's, Joe?
Well, we can cover 2 different items. I'm gonna let you choose them, Joseph.
Okay.
We can talk about one of my favorite games all time being converted into a movie, or we can talk about another thing that you want to talk about. Which one would you like to go with? Because I'm fine with bringing up this movie. I'm fine to talk about this.
I was going to be mean and say, who cares about you, Joe? Let's go with me. But I care about you. I answered my own question.
Thank you.
So
there you go.
Let's go with your story.
All right. As we talked about, I think in our E3 update, that Gearbox is making a Borderlands film. I thought they had just started making the film, according to what was being shown. But apparently, earlier this week, about 2 days ago, an article was put out saying that they had just finished wrapping up filming, which is amazing in my mind. That they are finally almost done with this. video game movie that they're making. And after they did this, they released a image of what will be Claptrap in the movie, which is exciting because I'm excited about it because I'm excited about Jack Black voicing Claptrap. And Joe Brown hasn't seen the picture yet.
No, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to give my live reaction.
So here's the picture of Claptrap.
Oh, wow. That actually looks really good. I'll make sure this is in the thumbnail for the video if anyone's watching on YouTube so you can see Claptrap. That like looks real, you know what I mean? Kind of like, I don't want to say BB-8 style, but it looks like Claptrap's really there.
Yeah, it looks really good. So I'm really excited about it. And then me and Joe Brown have like briefly been talking about the movie and our opinions about certain things, and Joe Brown has stated his opinions about some of the characters and how he doesn't agree with some of the casting, and I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about how I feel about that. I want to see a trailer before I make my opinion about that. But I do have one very strong opinion about Tiny Tina, and I'm upset that they didn't cast Ashley Birch as Tiny Tina. Because I feel like she would do...
Oh, right, because she's the voice actress, right?
She's the voice actress of Tiny Tina.
I'm going to look up Tiny Tina right now. Tiny Tina. Images. She's the game coming out that was at at the Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, Tiny Tina is like one of the best characters in my opinion, one of the best characters in the game. And in the third game, they made her older, so she's more of an adult somewhat. And because in the second game, she's kind of still like a very younger child.
Yeah.
But I guess they did have to cast a younger child because I think this game takes place in between Borderlands 2 and 3, from what it seems like.
Okay.
But I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like. I would really like this to be a good movie and not be a flop of a movie like most other video game movies are.
Yeah, that's what you have to worry about, right? The question I want to ask about Tiny Tina is, like, do you think they went with the young actress like Harry Potter style because they're hoping that it's going to become more movies so Tiny Tina's character can grow as the young actress also grows, like with Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and them, you know what I mean? Like, is it like they're investing in the series so that they can change her story, like tell her when she's young and then tell her when she's an adult, because then the girl will be an adult, you know what I mean? Well, because if you start with Ashley Birch now as an adult, then you can never go back to like young Tiny Tina with Ashley Birch, right?
Yeah, but like the thing is, like, the way I didn't think they were gonna do more than one movie. Maybe they might, but like if they were gonna
get into Sonic movies, baby.
Heck yeah, my dude. But like I was saying, if they were going to do that, then why didn't they start with like, because Tiny Tina doesn't show up until the second game, so why wouldn't we do something before the second game?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. Depending on how this movie goes, it all depends on what's gonna happen. So we shall see. But I'm excited because I love the fack that Jack Black is playing Claptrap because I think it's going to be amazing.
That's a great casting.
That's a great casting. Is this Blackjack? I'm gonna call him Jack. Blackjack. Blacktrap. Claptrap is being played by Jack Black, which is great for my opinion. But yeah, that's all we kind of got about the movie right now. I still think that what's his name?
Where's his name? Eli Roth, the director?
No. Well, he's done good work. I'm trying to remember. Randy Pitchford.
Mm-hmm.
He still looks like the embodiment of handsome Jack as a person with some of the outfits he wears. But this is my opinion. One of the comments on this.
Oh, go ahead,
Joe. I was gonna say one of the comments on this article. Someone states that sure is Claptrap, and then that's all. That's all they say. Oh my god.
Well, what I was gonna say is, what's odd is that if they were so close to wrapping production, right, and they had the E3 half hour for Gearbox where half of it was literally just Randy walking around talking to people in a loud studio set with like blurred faces because they didn't want to reveal the character designs or whatever. It's like, did that have to happen at E3? If you literally wrapped production 2 weeks after E3 happened, like, you could have just held this Gearbox half-hour event, like, I don't know, July 1st or something like that. You know what I mean? Am I crazy?
I don't know.
Because it seems like a total wasted opportunity. I understand that the footage of him on set was not literally done, like, right before, 2 days before E3. I'm sure that was months ago, the footage of him talking with Eli and then him talking with Kevin Hart and stuff. But I just feel like, for most people agree that the Gearbox was like a waste of a half hour and didn't really need to have a press conference this year. So, like, I feel like they could have garnered a lot more positive news about their movie if they had done this separate from E3 instead of like the downer that everyone felt like watching that half hour.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Now also, would you like, because then I looked up Tiny Tina on Google, of course how, the internet works, it led me to Amazon. Would you like a $12 Tiny Tina action figure on Amazon?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. There's an $18 Claptrap action figure on Amazon.
I've got a Claptrap action figure sitting right in front of me right now.
I remember back in our college days, Jim, I helped you make your bulletin board with the Claptrap on it, remember?
Yes, I do.
Back when we were on the RA staff, we had to make those stupid bulletin boards, and you did a Claptrap one.
It was so good too.
That was definitely the best bulletin board in my half year in that building. That was definitely the best bulletin board we ever did.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Okay, let's stop focusing on the past, Joe, and let's talk about the present, because presently the Steam Summer Sale is going on. Okay, so I've been waiting anxiously, because it's not the same as it used to be with like the crazed, this game is on sale for 3 minutes nonsense. It's like a bigger window, but the sales aren't as deep as they used to be, which I think is a fair trade-off. So if anyone does have their Steam account, they can look on pretty much every game that I can see. Anything that I have on my wish list is on sale. There's a lot of stuff. The one that stand out to me, and then I'll ask you, Joe. I'm finally going to get Indivisible, which is an indie RPG game that was like hand-drawn animations of every frame. I don't want to say similar to Cuphead, because I might be talking like an idiot, because maybe they did things differently. But it is like, you can noticeably see, if you look up Indivisible, you're like, okay, this was definitely hand-drawn compared to like the other types of ways that people, their art styles of video games. So it's an indie RPG that's on sale 75% off for $10. And right now, if you heard that click on my mouse, I hit purchase. So I've now purchased it.
Nice.
So what stands out to you?
Well, I haven't gotten a good look at it. Some of the things on my wish list that I haven't really thought about a lot lately are on sale. I really wish that I could pick up Assassin's Creed Valhalla on sale in the Steam store, but it's not on the Steam store. Oh. So I'm going to have to figure that out.
Is it on the doesn't Ubi have their own launcher, right?
Yeah, it's probably on there. Yeah. But is it gonna be on sale? Who knows? I did pick up Horizon Zero Dawn.
Ooh, the complete edition or whatever.
The complete edition, because it's a pretty good deal. Like, what is it, like 30% off or something like that? Mm-hmm. So I picked up that boy. Let's see what Ubi's got. Is Ubisoft going to help me out here? You going to help me out?
I was looking at all like the Square Enix stuff, and it gets me every time, right? So the Final Fantasy, like obviously all the Final Fantasy games under the sun are all on sale, and I'm like, oh wow, like Final Fantasy 10/10-2 HD remasters it was 50% off. Like, wow, that's a great deal. And it's like, it's still $15 though. It's like, so the regular price is $30. So, maybe if it was $20 and it was 50% off and then it was $10, then I would get it. But I feel like a lot of these Final Fantasy games that I've had in my wish list for a long time now are just like, I wish that base price was a little lower so that discount meant even more for me to get it,
Yeah, I kind of want to pick up the Shirel Humans. I really want to play that game. That game looks fun. That's on my wish list right now. It's another good one that's on my wish list. Most of the things on my wish list now are games that haven't even come out yet because I stocked them all up for when I'm gonna remember to buy them when they come out.
I added Tunic to the wish list. Remember that that Fox Zelda looking game?
Nice, cool.
So hopefully I'll get updates for that when that one comes out. And I like how it's like spread out. Unless I'm misremembering the last couple sales, like they have this kind of adventure story, like intro screen. Did you get that too? That page that was like, what type of game do you want to play? And then it was like you could click like I like how they handle that and how things even on the main storefront are segmented to like the RPG, anime, strategy, event, roguelike. Like I like the presentation this time around of the Steam sale a lot.
Yeah, it's a good one. I've liked a few of the other ones that they've done, but this is better laid out from what it looks like. It is very well laid out. I will say that.
The only other one that I'm debating and I need your help on is if I finally sack up and buy Civilization 6, which it's been in my wish list forever now, and I never make the commitment. Oh my god, let me type it in. I think it's $10 on the Switch right now, and then
Civilization. If it's $10 on the Switch, part of me feels like you.
It's $15 on Steam. I don't know what the discount percent. It's 70. So it's 75% off on Steam, which makes it $15. But okay. Big spender over here, Joe. The whole Civilization 6 anthology bundle, which is $200, is $50, and that's a 76% off compared to the 75% off of just buying Civilization 6. Now, yes, I'm spending like $40 more, but I'm also saving 1% on a sale.
No, I don't know.
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but I don't know.
I don't know. So I was thinking, maybe one day, maybe we do like a Civilization Let's Play or something. We take over a country and we go to town.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So let's move on from Steam here, Joe.
Okay.
And talk about Cyberpunk returning to the PlayStation Store. Now I
was just about to say that I'm in Steam looking at the action games, and the top game is Cyberpunk. And
is there a discount?
It's a $33% discount. It's at $40.
Ooh, now what do you think? Because like I haven't ever since their horrendous release. I kind of decided to stop paying attention to Cyberpunk because I feel like a lot of people feel the same way as me. So like, have you been following up with it? I know you bought it initially. Like, have they said they've made a lot of updates or they fixed a lot of things?
I'm following the updates. They have been fixing a bunch of stuff. I haven't gone back to it, but I've actually been like meaning to go back to it. I wanted to beat it because like it was still, when I was playing it, it was still like a fun game to play. Like, yeah, my graphics card couldn't handle it with the RTX on, even though I had a 2070 Super, but like it was still like an interesting game. There's like really interesting story stuff, and like yeah, they dropped the ball on like the graphical errors that it had, but they did really well with the story outline. Like, I was enjoying that, but I want them to put in the things that they showed in their first like playthrough or showcase of stuff, where because you can buy those cybernetic enhancements like the mantis arms or the gorilla punch hands. Mm-hmm. And in the game, the mantis arms allowed you to like crawl on walls and like do aerial attacks and stuff, but they took that out. So I'm hoping that one day they'll bring and put those back, but we'll have to see if that ever really happens. But I still want to get through it and play it. Like I've been meaning to go back to it. I just haven't yet.
Because I think it is interesting that, PlayStation 1 took it off the store, and then now they, like, kind of silently put it back. But I think the official statement, they still recommended that you don't play it on last-gen consoles, which is, like, a giant percentage of the player base that would potentially play it, and kind of the systems that they were developed during the time frame that the game was being made. You know what I mean? So it still feels, it still doesn't. Let me just say, it still isn't satisfying that that's the resolution, is the just play it on Xbox Series X or PS5, because it's like, well, you took all those people's money on PS4 and Xbox One, and you didn't optimize it for them.
Well, that's the thing. They gave them their money back. They allowed people to return the game.
No, I know, but I'm saying when they were making the game, they were making it at the time for PS4 and Xbox One, and it never had the intention of being even, salvageable on those consoles.
Yeah, I think they went too hard with the RTX, and that's what I think causes a lot of the issues is the RTX. But then there's also the whole bug issue that they continuously had. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of like things that we were learning that was like bad for the dev team, and like they just kept pushing them to do this, and they wanted the game to be. This kind of brings up the conversation of like the developers wanted to push the game out, but the developers knew if they did that, they were going to once again get heat from the community, and just like last time, get death threats about having to extend the game's like launch, which is kind of upsetting to think about. How you're excited about a game, why are you going to threaten a developer who's making your game when he's trying to make it the best that he can, but then you get pissed off that the game's not coming out because they have to delay it, but then you're going to get pissed off when they release it and it's like half finished. So it's like you can't win in the situation. Like, people are going to be mad either way, and I feel like they just had to decide to be like, okay, we're doing it this way, but they kind of chose the wrong way to do it, in my opinion. But I'm not in charge of that kind of stuff. There's a reason I don't work in that field.
Right. Well, I would say there's not a lot of logic regarding most death threats. You know what I mean? Like, to be, why would you kill them? Because if you kill them, they can't make the game. It's like, well, that person's not thinking logically when they send a stupid death threat, Yeah,
but the fact that you have to, like, some of them were mailed. The fact that you wrote it down, put it in a letter.
That's ridiculous.
Stamped it and sent it is the issue. Like,
what is this, 1973? Like,
what are you, Benjamin Franklin? God. But yeah, so I'm excited to go back in and see what they've done. I know they've done a lot of good work on it, and they're continuously doing work on it. So I'm gonna hop in eventually and see what it's all about, see what's going on. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Trying to get them cybernetic enhancements. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I wish I could say the same, but now I gotta play Civilization 6. Sorry. So.
Well, that's fine. You can do that, and I can do this.
Okay, that's fair. At the same time, you just like you're just quiet for 10 minutes as you're watching a cutscene, and I'm like, Joe, I'm getting attacked. I'm getting flanked from the left. I need help. And you're just like, whoa, look at this gun.
I'm just like, shh, be quiet. They're talking.
Oh gosh. All right.
Oh my god.
So I think we're going at a good pace here, Joe. So I say we hit it with our last topic.
Let's hit it.
All right. So anybody who remembers our, I don't even know how many episodes ago it was, last year, Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS4. It was actually my game of the year, personally. It came out like a month into quarantine, I think, as we were all sitting at home. And I, like, no-life that game. I legitimately was playing it, like, 12 hours a day. And then I would, like, go sleep and wake up and then play 12 hours again. Like, completely destroyed my sleep cycle. But it didn't matter because we weren't going anywhere, right? So we talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake the last time. And I actually, like, got into, pretty good discussions back and forth with our friend Art. You remember he came on for our fighting game episode? He's a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, so like we talk back and forth. I even started playing the original on Steam. I have it, and I was texting him. And he sent me like a guide too, and he was helping me out and stuff. So this earlier June, I don't know if it was a week and a half ago, whatever it was, Final Fantasy VII Remakes Intergrade update for the PlayStation 5 came out, and Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade Intermission episode Yuffie DLC was what came out with it, which I'm not making that up, Joe. Long story short, it is essentially a DLC and $20, which we can talk about, that was from the perspective of Yuffie, who comes from the Wutai region, which is another region in Final Fantasy VII, that she wasn't in this original chunk of the game, that first, Midgar 30+ hour section of the story, and they're kind of like pushing her into this. So the events of the Final Fantasy VII Remake game, those first 30 hours or so, happen simultaneously as Yuffie now being in Midgar on a mission to try to find the Avalanche, whatever group, and reclaim Wutai and yada yada yada. Bunch of nonsense. So it was nice. The best part about this show, and I'll say it this way: the best part is that this story is completely unattached to the game that came out last year. And you'd say, oh, isn't that a bad thing? What I mean is, so how the original game worked is it's segmented into chapters that you could just play like at any point. So let's say it was 18 chapters. I don't remember the exact number. Like, you could play chapters 1 through 18, and then you could just say, I want to load from chapter 6, and then you just start from chapter 6 and go on again. So it's like a weird system. But what I was terrified of was, I was worried Square would put this Yuffie DLC in like chapter 13.5 or something like that. You know what I mean? And then I'd have to play through the whole game again just to get it. But because it literally is 2 different main menus on the homepage for FF7. Like on the left side is the intergrade, the update, and then on the right is the intermission episode. And so it goes from Cloud's Buster Sword on the left, and if you hit right, it goes to like Yuffie's blade or whatever she calls it. So I like that a lot. It took me about, I want to say 6.5 hours. It had been over a year since I played, so I kept dying at the beginning, just trying to remember the mechanics and stuff. Like, there was these 2 dogs that had to have killed me 7 or 8 times, just because I just forgot about all of the mechanics there. But once you get started, Yuffie's, so the game is it's like live action or full action like Final Fantasy 15, but then you can slow it down and use your abilities like turn-based, kind of like the original game.
Yeah.
So, yes. So that gameplay, which is still I still say is the best gameplay I've ever played in one of these, JRPGs like this. It's still perfect there, and Yuffie plays even differently from Cloud. So I'm excited for the future games when she gets integrated into the party, how we can utilize her. So she has her, I want to call it a boomerang. I'm sorry if it's not the right word, but it's whatever. It goes back and forth, and it's 4-sided. So for lack of a better word, I'll call it the boomerang. That's her weapon. That's her weapon type. So Cloud has the Buster Sword, but he has a bunch of other different swords that all look like the Buster Sword. They still work the same way as a long ass sword. So she has all these different boomerang style weapons that you can use and put the materia in and stuff. And the best thing about her, because they know it's a separate thing, so they give you your own materia and its own, upgraded levels and things like that, because it's a separate story, is her weapon. So in the traditional game, if Cloud wanted to do, let's say, lightning magic to a robot, I'd have to equip a lightning materia onto the Buster Sword and then use the charge of it or whatever. But her weapon, she can throw out and from a distance just attack if you just spam attack from a distance, and it stays attacking the enemy. And her weapon is infused. She has a spell that you can use one of her action points, her ATB bars. That's like ATM machine. I just said that. I just realized that it is infused with all 4 elemental materia. So you use an ATB action to choose all right, I want to change this to a fire attack or a lightning attack or a wind attack or whatever. So that way you don't even have to equip those materia and quote unquote waste a materia slot. You follow what I'm saying?
I follow what you're saying.
And that was such awesome because I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fighting a human. Most of the humanoid style enemies are weak to fire, so I would use the ATB and switch to like the fire attack, and like I'm just hitting from a distance, and I'm like, oh, okay, super effective damage. Like, all right, these robots are usually weak to lightning, so I switched to that, and it was such a fun mechanic. And then the other part, so a boomerang is like, it goes out and it goes back in, right?
Yeah. You throw it out and it comes back to you.
So for this, you throw it out and you can hit people from a distance, and then when you re-grab it, you warp to your weapon on the enemy, and then you start wailing on them again. So like I'd have to show you some gameplay on YouTube or something like that to fully explain it.
I understand what you're talking about. That sounds like really cool.
It was so much fun. Like I loved playing. I would say Tifa was my favorite character to play as in the first game last year because she felt the most rush down, beat 'em up, like fun to play. But like I think Yuffie's even more fun to play, and that's saying something because I really loved the first game. It's like, so her gameplay, although it's like completely separate from everything, and they kind of have moments where they cross a little bit, where Yuffie's going this way, and like she gets to I can't think of the first town's name. It's blanking me. The town where most of the game takes place, where the bar is and everything, where Avalanche's headquarters is. And so she gets there as like Avalanche is leaving, you know what I mean, to go on the next mission. So like you do have a little bit of crossover where they don't mess up the timeline too much there. They don't change too much about it, which I liked. But overall, they introduced a new character, Sonin or whatever. He was just like kind of her bodyguard. He was fine, but like the DLC really let Yuffie shine. Like her personality was awesome. She was very energetic and like a really like fun, charismatic character that like I really am excited to get joined in the next episode and like probably be a part of my main rotation because like she was really that fun to play as.
Cool. I'm excited. That sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to watch you play some of this because can't you like stream with the PlayStation 5 now?
I think so. Yeah. I think you could do it, and then like you could like have someone take over too with their controller or something. I forget how that worked.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch you play some of that next time.
Yeah. So like I will say, story for the most part, they introduced new characters, and like obviously these new characters aren't super impactful because like they weren't there, so they're not gonna make some DLC character like super integral to like the main FF7 plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the new characters that did introduce were nice, and they actually had tie-ins with existing side characters. So there's this one girl. Her name is Kyrie, and it kills me because it's literally spelled Kyrie, like Kyrie Irving, like Kyrie, and her name is Kyrie. I'm like, Japan, you guys gotta be kidding me here, Square.
Get out of here.
Kyrie is like kind of this kleptomaniac that just likes gambling and stealing money and things, and you actually play her in a mini game, this like side game from the original. The game's not too fun, but it is a mini game. It gives you additional content, and like so you interact with her, and I think his name was Chadley. He was like the tech guy that was giving you a lot of your resources in the original game, and he helps Yuffie out also. So there are neat, let's say, inconsequential ties between the DLC and the main game that I think really connect well and don't mess with too much stuff. You know what I mean? Like they don't be like, hey, well that doesn't make sense because he should have been in this moment in this time according to the original game. Like they're very good at treading lightly on not just like blowing everything up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I got you. That's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting, but I'm sure once she gets into the real game, they're going to be like, they're going to change like a bunch of stuff like they did in the original.
Because people are still, and like our friend Art is like still heated about some of the changes that they made, which I understand. I actually agree with a lot of them. We don't have a lot of answers right now. The DLC and specifically the ending has given us more questions than we went into the DLC with, which is kind of frustrating, but definitely par for the course for Square Enix at this point. Like, I don't know if we want to get into spoilers or not, but like, it's just like the same the same issues and the same worries that you had at the end of FF7 Remake last year are not remedied at the end of this. Like, it's the same potential issue, because they even, after the credits, like, cut back to the original crew from the first game and see, like, what they're up to and, like, where they're leading to start the second episode of the remake. And it's like, well, you didn't really answer any questions that we had here last year, and you kind of just... I'm a little worried with some of the direction they're going, Joe.
I understand.
Story-wise, I'll say. Like, gameplay-wise, this game is literally amazing. Like, I cannot wait until, like, 2037 when all 8 episodes are released and I just play, 200 hours straight through, because the gameplay is fantastic and I can't wait for it. But I'm worried that, Tetsuya Nomura's gonna Nomura it up and take this story in a very weird direction, where the game is already very strange to begin with. It's a Final Fantasy game, and we'll see what happens, Joe.
We will see what happens.
My only main complaint is $20 was a lot for, like, I know you can't do for DLC, you can't do like the hour to dollar gameplay, division or whatever. But $20 for 6 to maybe 8 hours if you go super slow. Like, I did try to I did every side quest, but I tried to get through it quickly. Like, that's a steep price for me, considering how, like, you can't then use Yuffie or any of that progress to go into the regular game if you're going to play both together, So I wish it was like 15 or something. There was also a weird bug. I don't know. When I transferred my PS4 cloud data or whatever storage to the PS5 all those months ago, like, it didn't save any of my Final Fantasy VII stuff, because I think I had to go into the PS4 onto FF7R and upload it through there instead of it being in my cloud storing on the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are some games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, perfect example. I'm missing one achievement in that game, and it's the 20 million Zenny, and I'm literally never going to get it because I was only at like 9 million Zenny or something. So I'm not going to sit there and grind 11 million Zenny just to get the plat. Maybe I should, but I won't. So when I've got that on PS4 and upgraded to PS5, I'm still missing one achievement. I lost all my money because you transferred accounts or systems or whatever, which was fine. But it's like I had all my DLC characters, I had everything. When I turned Final Fantasy VII on and I started playing the DLC, and I was like, achievement, and it was like, use a summon or something. I'm like, what? Like, I definitely got, like, used a summon in the original game, and I click it, and it was like, achievement, 1%. And I was at, like, 60%, and I'm like, well, are you kidding me? So the save data did not transfer over from PS4 to PS5, and now it's like, well, I don't want to replay through the part 1 again just to get all the achievements I already had. Like, it was super frustrating.
Yeah, I feel that. I would definitely.
Yeah, and then the intergrade and intermission are in separate things in the PlayStation Store. Like, because you could get the intergrade mission for free if you owned it on the PS4, because you're getting because it's integrated as the PS5 free update. But then if you didn't buy it before, like if you're just getting it fresh, then the intergrade costs $20, where it's supposed to be a free upgrade. But then there's also the free tab, like, because I had this, like, I'm going on too long here, but what essentially is I played FF7 on PS4. I had that data to show that I got the intergrade upgrade for free in the PlayStation Store because I had the data, but I had no save data or achievement transferring over to the PS5 because I was at 0%. But if it recognized that I had it on the PS4, then why didn't it transfer over, right?
Correct. Yeah. Like, yeah. What?
I sound I sound like the meme with Always Sunny with the guy with the board behind him with all the
Charlie.
Dots. Yeah. That's how I sound right now, but
Pepe Sylvia. Carol.
So, moral of the story: FF7 Remake is fantastic. The Yuffie DLC was awesome, and she's now, like, I'm super excited when she actually joins the main roster because she was the most fun character to play as so far out of all of them. And yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. There it is.
All right, Joe.
We got our hot takes. We got all our hot takes all in one basket. You know what we're going to do with that basket, Joe Brown?
What are you going to do?
We're going to take it home. Go for it.
No, you take it home.
Oh, I forgot I take it home.
That's how this works.
I'm going to take it home. I'm going to take my hot basket of hot takes home. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Cup of Joe's. We've loved having you here. I'm your host, Joe Perrion, accompanied by my best friend, Joe Brown. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
We'll catch you on the course in Mario Golf.
Boo!